Okay, well, I skipped a few things. So, what wasn't part of this original build, what you guys didn't have to just go sit through, was what I did was I took my old machine apart. I took the motherboard out. I took everything out. I built a machine for my wife. Basically, I gave her the machine that I had, the one that I just put the video up about, and then I built this machine. So I really couldn't do like the step by step because there was just too much going on between the two builds, and there's always some unexpected things. So what I learned today was that the screws that go into the motherboard that come with the case that hold the motherboard to the case, even though they may come from the same manufacturer and they may look identical, they are not. So what I ended up having to do after I did the swap, I fired hers up, it worked, I put it in the other room, I came back and I tried screwing the motherboard into this, and it wouldn't work. None of the screws would take. So I had to then go rip that machine back apart, strip it down to nothing, take all the screws out, swap the screws, put that machine back together again, hook up everything again, get it back in its place, fire it up, make sure it still worked, which it did. Then I could get back to doing this with this. A couple of considerations with this motherboard, just some things that I learned today. One thing is that this Noctua cooler, as you can see from my hand, that thing is a savage beast, and it is going to cut you up like a razor. So just be aware of that when you handle this Noctua thing. I mean, even just if you can accidentally brush into it, you're going to get cut. I mean, let's see if you can see my other two fingers here. I didn't even see this happen, and both of those, I get cut here, and then you can see I got cut here. So that thing is like a chainsaw. The other thing is that probably my only complaint about this motherboard up to this point is kind of a lack of fan headers. I think that they probably assume most people that go for this build are probably going to go water cooled, and I don't blame them for making that assumption. However, I don't water cool, and I just found that there was kind of a lack. One of my front fans, I had to run a cable. It's actually underneath the graphics card, and it hooks in about here. I'm kind of worried about it. I do not like the idea of that at all. So we're gonna see what happens with that. But other than that, nice. Everything really nice. This is one of the cleaner, cable management wise. This is one of the cleaner, for me, builds I've been able to do. So anyway, it's all hooked up now. I have not fired it up. As you saw from my other video, I did update the BIOS using their BIOS flash tool. But I have not fired this thing up. This is the moment of truth right now. Hopefully, at the very least, I got the power button piece right on the motherboard. So at least it'll try to fire up. So we're going to see what happens. So this is the Ryzen build. Oh, probably power supply's off. No, it was on. Okay, no, I got the switches wrong. Okay, back to the drawing board. Oh, there we go. Sometimes, you know what? I didn't play with anything. Sometimes you just got to hold that power button a little bit longer than usual. So, let's see what happens. I have no idea what to expect here. I've seen people have issues with the RAM. I've seen people have issues with the BIOS. I've seen people have issues with the processor. So, I have no idea what I'm going to get. Yep, there we go. You know what? I got to the BIOS, so as far as I'm concerned, that's a win. Now I actually bought the Windows 10 workstation version, so I'm going to be installing that, and so I'll have a little review up for that later on, probably in a couple weeks when I have my time with it. But it sees all the RAM, I can see that much, so that's a relief. And yep. Processor obviously sees the Threadripper and everything. So okay, cool. All right, good. So I'm actually gonna sign off because I'm gonna have to work on this for a while. Just the last thing I'm gonna throw in is that every PC I make when I do a big build like this, because I don't get to do stuff like this all the time, so I only do one of these every few years. So I give everyone a name, and usually I just name it after the motherboard. Whatever like the coolest component I buy, I usually name it after that. But this one I'm going to name after my dog. I just lost my dog this year. His name was Thor, and this looks like a Thor build to me. So he meant a lot to me, and I'm really still not over it. It's been 4 months, and I was just visiting his grave last week. I'm already getting choked up even talking about it. But I'm going to name this, I don't know, I'm thinking something like Ryzen Thor or 2950X Thor or something like that. But definitely Thor is going to be part of the name of this build. So, all right, this is awesome. This is awesome. So lots of cool videos to come now that this thing fired up, and I know I'm not going to be, playing with RAM configurations for the next 2 weeks. Thanks for watching.